I'm Kyle Pazorski in Ithaca with a demonstration on how new technology can detect a school shooter.
And the WIAA makes a decision on transgender athletes, how it mirrors federal guidelines.
I'm Eliol Liberté, following the aftermath of the primary to become Wisconsin's top education official.
You're watching News 3 now at 5.
And we start with a look at your first warn forecast. I think we're all ready for a warm-up. Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington joins us now. He is in studio. Welcome back, Alex.
Hey, thank you very much. And we're making incremental improvement here as we look at our current watches and warnings. We don't have a cold weather advisory. We don't have an extreme cold warning for any part of the WISC viewing area. Still a cold advisory off to the south and to the west in Iowa, where the terrain is a bit more on the flat side, so the winds are allowed to still crank up a little bit, causing wind chills to 20 below zero over the night tonight. Current temperatures out there right now, 10 degrees in Madison, 9 in Janesville. We got 5 in Viroqua and 9 right now in the Dells. Zooming on in here to Dane County, we got some 10s, we got some 11s, so this is very much below normal, about 20 degrees below normal currently. Now, I had to leave this here because we have some new weather cameras that we're getting, and this is not one from Wisconsin, but I figured southern Wisconsin might enjoy this view here. Eventually, we will get temperatures back to where this camera is showing us. I just thought it'd be nice to show it here. Actual temperatures, 10 degrees, -3. We got a ways to go, though, to get temperatures that warm that we were just seeing there. Temperatures overnight tonight will dip down to 4 by the time we get to 4 to 5 by the time we get to the 10 o'clock newscast, with wind chills as cold as -10. How cold will those wind chills go tonight, and when can you expect 40-degree weather? I'll let you know in a few minutes.
Those palm trees warmed us up. Alex, thank you. Monona police have just released information about 2 arrests related to a 100-mile-an-hour chase overnight. About 12:30 this morning, police spotted a vehicle going 3 times the speed limit on Monona Drive. Officers used tire deflation devices, stopping the car near an apartment in Fitchburg. The 37-year-old driver has been arrested for felony eluding and a probation violation. The 30-year-old passenger also facing charges of party to a crime, felony eluding.
School shootings are something that no one ever wants to hear about, but there is some promising technology to avoid the worst outcomes.
And News 3 Now's Kyle Pazorski shows us how it works tonight from Ithaca.
It's a demonstration of an event that you hope would never happen, showing off some technology that can detect a school shooter. The company putting on the demonstration is known as Shooter Detection Systems, born out of technology used in war zones. Implemented in schools, office buildings, and the like, the tech is aimed at alerting authorities of a gun being fired.
And then within 5 seconds, we are alerting all emergency personnel or any life safety or security measures that you guys have.
Educators, students, state representatives, and law enforcement gathering for the live demonstration Wednesday morning. After a failed first attempt due to a setup mistake for this demo, a second round was fired, followed instantly by the alert of an active shooter, showing just how fast it works. Richland County Sheriff Clay Porter says the system seems promising.
I certainly think it looks like a good product and a good program, and it seems like it's probably a good value for what they're offering us. I'm impressed by it.
The Ithaca School District holding the event all as a way to show the group their focus on safety.
This has been something that's very important to us, that we've paid a lot of attention to the safety of our school, the safety of our community, and trying to ensure a little bit more assurance and confidence that our students are safe.
Right now, the school district is in the process of looking into possible grant programs or to seek help from the taxpayers to pay and implement this technology. In Ithaca, Kyle Pazorski, News 3 Now.
The detection company says the system has a 99.9% accuracy rate, avoiding false alarms in their over 350 million operating hours. Each individual sensor costs about $800. The man accused of killing UW Whitewater gymnast Kara Welsh will stand trial in December. Court records show 23-year-old Chad Richards is charged with first-degree intentional homicide for allegedly shooting Welsh 8 times last August. Richards and Welsh were in a relationship. Prosecutors say the shooting followed an argument. Richards claims he acted in self-defense. Welsh was a national champion and 2-time All-American gymnast. She was just 21 years old. A jury trial has been set for December 15th through the 23rd, and if convicted, Richards faces life in prison.
The WIAA has updated its policy on student-athlete eligibility. Executive Director Stephanie Hauser announcing the board has voted to comply with new federal directives, meaning only students designated female at birth are only allowed to compete in girls' sports. That decision follows similar action by the NCAA earlier this month. Republican lawmakers who previously pushed for a statewide ban have praised this move.
Yes, I am elated. And I will tell you, we planned on reintroducing the women in sports legislation. I'm glad the WIAA joined the NCAA and used some common sense, keeping women's sports for women.
Governor Tony Evers in 2023 vetoed a similar bill aimed at banning transgender athletes from participating in women's sports.
A new Quinnipiac University poll is revealing concerns about the U.S. government's system of checks and balances. 38% of voters say it is working well, while 54% say it's failing. Meanwhile, approval ratings have hit record levels, with just 2 out of every 10 people approving of the Democrats in Congress, while 4 out of every 10 approve of Republicans. When it comes to the White House, 55% of voters say Elon Musk has too much power in shaping U.S. decisions.
2 candidates are advancing in the race to become Wisconsin's top education official.
This after yesterday's primary for superintendent of the Department of Public Instruction. Incumbent Jill Underly took home 38% of the vote. Education consultant Brittany Kinzer received 34%, and Sauk Prairie Superintendent Jeff Wright fell out of the running with 27%. Our Ellie LaLiberte has been following this race and joins us with where it all goes now. Ellie?
Well, Susan, I caught up with both Underly and Kinzer today about their campaign plans moving forward, and both candidates are already making their next pitch to voters.
Do you want somebody who has that record of standing up for all kids in all public schools, or somebody who doesn't have that experience at all?
Our children deserve so much better.
Either incumbent Jill Underly or education consultant Brittany Kinzer will be the next official to oversee public education in Wisconsin. The winner will have power over education policy, funding for schools, and teacher licensing. The fight in the race, in part, taking shape around testing standards.
Jill Underly is unapologetic. She lowered the standards for our children and claims to have no regret about it.
And I stand by it. I'm going to be very clear. She's misstating the truth. It's a political year.
And vouchers, as Underly criticizes Kinzer's pro-school choice voucher position.
And I think it's very clear that, my opponent in this general election, she's a voucher lobbyist, a private school lobbyist.
When we talk about vouchers, I want Jill Underly to understand that those vouchers are being used by families who live below a certain income.
State superintendent is a nonpartisan race, but Underly is backed by Wisconsin Democrats.
I think there's just these small issues that rise to the top that become very highly polarizing.
And Kinzer is favored by Republicans.
I'm thankful for the Republican Party for their support. I am for the kids. This is a nonpartisan race. I am a moderate.
Now, both candidates looking to pull in Jeff Wright's more than 100,000 votes as their own. And of course, I'll continue to follow this race as we move closer to that April 1st election.
All right, Ellie, thank you. We're continuing to follow developments in the search for a missing Wisconsin teen. We have surveillance video from the Beaver Dam police showing the moment 40-year-old Gary Day allegedly picked up 16-year-old Sophia Franklin. An Amber Alert was issued for Franklin February 3rd. It has since been extended to Arkansas and Missouri. She was last seen at her home February 2nd, while Day was spotted outside the next morning.
An explosion has reduced a home to rubble and injured 2 people in Racine. It happened around 5:40 last night, just a block from Mitchell Middle School. A neighbor says the blast felt like a bomb, trapping a woman inside as her father tried to save her. Neighbors helped free her just as flames consumed the home. Personnel were on the scene for almost 5 hours fighting this fire, and ice-covered conditions in single-digit temperatures. 2 victims escaped the explosion and were taken to a nearby hospital.
Madison is now home to the first custom-built electric fire engine, fresh off the production line at Pierce Manufacturing in Oshkosh. Fire Station 8's new Pierce Volterra electric pumper features a 246 kilowatt-hour battery, zero emissions pumping, and backup power from a combustion engine. Madison first tested the electric engine in 2021, working with Pierce to refine and certify the technology. Now it's officially part of the fleet, marking a new era in firefighting.
Well, the alert day has been dropped for today, but the cold weather is still here. Alex will tell us about our slow climb out of the deep freeze.
And coming up, we're at the state capitol where a slate of bills could affect your child's education.
And a check of the markets on Wall Street, the all in positive terrain in midweek trading. The Dow up 71, the Nasdaq adds 15, the S&P 500 jumps 14.5. We'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5, moving forward.
The USDA is releasing its numbers from last year's egg production in Wisconsin, and they are slightly up despite the bird flu outbreak. Last year, 2.43 billion eggs were produced by Wisconsin chickens. This while the number of laying hens dipped slightly, meaning that production per hen increased. Overall, egg production is up 1% in Wisconsin, while it's much lower across much of the country. Funding cuts and layoffs at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau are on pause for now. But with its work stalled under the Trump administration, consumer advocates are raising alarms. Since 2011, the CFPB has secured over $20 billion in relief for millions of Americans. But with investigations halted and key protections like caps on credit card late fees suspended, the agency's future remains uncertain. Now lawmakers are debating who should be responsible for holding banks accountable.
If the CFPB is not there examining these giant banks to make sure they are following the laws on not cheating consumers, who is doing that job?
So to characterize that nobody's out there looking for consumers, I think, is inaccurate. And we ought not to try and scare consumers right now.
For now, the CFPB remains in limbo, leaving millions of consumers in the balance. The state legislature is back in session today, tackling a package of education bills in the state assembly.
And our political reporter Will Keneally is there with the latest.
Yeah, this is the first group of bills out the gate for the Republican-controlled state legislature, and that first bill, AB 1, would address what became the centerpiece of last night's election, changes that the state's education agency made to the metric on how failing schools in Wisconsin are evaluated.
I know firsthand what it does to a community when that happens.
State Representative Bob Whitkey previously led the Racine Unified School District. He wants to undo changes by the state superintendent to adjust the metric used to evaluate whether schools are failing.
We have to establish some oversight. This is a common sense, simple bill.
And during floor debate, some Republicans were openly critical of the state superintendent, who's backed by Democrats.
I heard one theme over and over again, and it was about the state superintendent of schools election. We should be investing in our schools. We should be investing in our children. What we have before us today in this bill and the other bills are political gamesmanship.
This was part of the debate around a slate of education bills, which also included a statewide ban on cell phones in classrooms.
We need to find a way to support our school districts so that they can implement successful cell phone policies at the local level.
90% of the districts in Wisconsin already have a policy.
The bill's author, Representative Joel Kitchens, wanted uniformity. The bill would force districts to create cell phone policies and with some requirements.
We know technology is not going away, right? It's going to be with our kids forever, but we need to teach them to use it responsibly.
Those bills passing today along near party lines. Reporting from the state capitol, Will Keneally, News 3 Now.
And the Assembly is also taking up a resolution marking February as Black History Month.
Now let's get a check on the forecast. Alex is back today, and we're slowly but surely seeing some improvement. Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you very much. And here's something bright here as we look at our Edgewater Skycam. This isn't the tropical scene that we were seeing in first weather, but the sun is still out there. It's shining. It's deceptively sunny. It's still 10 degrees outside with wind chill right now -3, with the wind still at 9 miles per hour, taking takes just a little bit of that breeze to get those wind chills down there. And we will see wind chills throughout the evening getting as cold as -10 to -15 actual air temperatures as we plan your evening when you join us towards that 10 o'clock newscast approaching that 4 to 5 degree mark. Right now we got 10 in Madison at the airport, as warm as 11 when you go down the road to Middleton and up the road to Wanakee in the DeForest area. Got 11 degrees. 10 in Lone Rock right now. We have 9 in the Dells, 9 in Camp Douglas, and 9 in Janesville. So it is still very cold out there. It's not as bitterly cold as we've been experiencing. So incremental change, a slow little climb here. Still have a cold weather advisory out across parts of Iowa where you have the flat terrain, allows the winds to ramp up a little bit more, keeping those wind chills on the colder side. But not here in southern Wisconsin. We do not have a cold weather advisory. We're right on the cusp of that though. Future track wind chills Thursday morning. Don't let your guard down. They'll still be between 15 degrees below zero, maybe some isolated areas approaching 20 below, which is right on the threshold of that dangerous stuff. But we're soon now have passed that dangerous stuff and we're heading towards warmer readings. We'll be feeling like temperatures in the single digits to the lower teens tomorrow afternoon. Actual air temperatures will be right around 20 degrees. One more night of those bitterly cold wind chills between, let's say, 0 and 15 below before we really start to see temperature improvement here. But we're slowly working our way out of the plunge. We'll do 0 in Madison, -2 in the Wisconsin River Valley, -1 in Baraboo, and 2, the warm spot tonight in Janesville. The clouds will help to hold up temperatures just a bit. Actual air temperatures will get into the lower to middle 20s. So again, some improvement there. We're 10 today and we'll be in the 20s as we go into Thursday afternoon. Then we just flip right into almost spring-like readings. Our actual high temperature today, right around that 10-degree mark. That's about 20 degrees below normal. As we get out into next week, we're going to see temperatures approaching 10 degrees above normal. So out of the deep polar plunge we go. We work our way up into the 40s as we go out into the middle of next week. And here's another sign of if you're thinking of spring and looking for those warmer temperatures. I just saw this on a sign today, so I wanted to put it in my show here. 28 days. We got less than a month left before the astronomical spring starts in southern, well, across the entire northern hemisphere, not just southern Wisconsin. But we're making progress here. Temperatures climbing into the 40s as we go out into next week. Just some small chances for precipitation and coming up during the 6 o'clock newscast. I'll show you a brief glimpse of what those precipitation chances look like when they arrive and in what form.
All right, Alex, thank you. A mother's fight for justice. The Wisconsin family awarded millions after a drug led to lasting brain damage for their newborn. What the jury found and why this case is so rare. Coming up.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
A jury has awarded $10 million to a Wisconsin family nearly 6 years after their baby sustained lasting brain damage during birth. The jury found the hospital and the doctor negligent in how they used the drug Pitocin.
Now, that's often used, as many of you know, safely to induce labor, but can cause lasting damage if not monitored properly. Michelle Fiore has the story.
1, 2.
This is Kamaya Minor's world, the only world she's ever known. Diagnosed with cerebral palsy before her second birthday. Kamaya's 6 now and mostly nonverbal, but learning how to sign, and she knows how to give high fives. Mom, Monica Cerna, had a normal pregnancy. Everything was going well, but her labor wasn't moving fast enough. So doctors gave her Pitocin to speed things along.
It was just very confusing, and I just felt like they weren't telling me what was going on as much as they should have. That's how I felt.
In court, a jury agreed with attorney Matthew Patterson that standard of care with regards to Pitocin was not followed in this case.
Some moms will get a lot of it and have no reaction at all. Some moms will get very little doses of it and have a very profound reaction. So in this particular case, they gave a relatively high dose of the drug, 20 milliunits a minute, for many hours. That caused too many contractions, which occurred for many hours.
Kamaya was born C-section, not breathing, and with very little pulse.
It's an emotional thing for me to speak on, because I love her and I wouldn't change her. I mean, I want her to have a normal life, but yeah.
Kamaya was rushed off to the NICU and then to Children's Hospital, even while her mom, Monica, was still at All Saints.
So I asked, where's my baby? Why can't I hear her? And then they're like, oh, she's right here.
What Monica did finally learn, she learned at Children's Hospital when she was shown scans of her baby's brain before the birth and right after, noting lasting damage.
That's totally preventable, and it's not anybody's trying to hurt anybody else. It's truly carelessness, negligence.
The jury's decision to side with the family in the case is significant. The family's legal team says juries typically rule in favor of hospitals and medical teams more than 90% of the time.
We'll have a final check of the forecast after a short break.
After 2 commercial jet crashes, many travelers are asking, is flying less safe? We put that question to the new Secretary of Transportation.
And giant data centers have brought jobs and needed tax revenue to many towns. So why are some saying enough? Eye on America takes a look tonight on the CBS Evening News.
Well, what should have been a typical Tuesday afternoon turned into a frozen nightmare in Milwaukee. The extreme cold caused 2 separate leaks, trapping parked cars in ice, a foot deep in some places. City crews are working around the clock to fix the damage, but for many, getting out of the ice means a tow truck or a lot of shoveling or chipping away at the ice is what many are doing. Well, of course, all of us are just waiting for the warmer weather to come to melt some of this stuff, and we're going to start feeling that pretty soon, Alex.
Yeah, what a mess there. And we're incremental change. We're slowly working our way out of this. We've got 2 more cold days ahead, and then we just flip almost to spring-like readings. We'll see that here in the 10-day forecast. Not tonight. We'll do 0 for a low in Madison, -2 in Lone Rock, 2 in Janesville. So we're still in the depths of that bitterly cold air mass across southern Wisconsin. The actual wind chills will be dipping down to maybe as cold as 15 below 0. This isn't quite the dangerously cold alert day cold that we've been experiencing the past couple of days, but it's close. So bundle up again Thursday morning. There's part of that incremental change. Temperatures getting back up to 21, so we bump up another 10 degrees on Thursday. We get even warmer by the time we head towards Friday. And then Saturday, look at Sunday, up near 40 degrees. We'll do low to mid 40s Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. We're going to have some precipitation too. And coming up at 6, I'll give you a glimpse of when that starts and what form will it be in. It's part of the progress. Don't want to give it away, though.
All right, Alex, thank you. We're back in 30 minutes for News 3 Now at 6. Stay tuned now for the CBS Evening News.